So today we are going to be starting a brand new game. It's going to be, I think, kind of similar to our 3D cube quest. I think that's what we called it. The one where we're making the cube in the maze. It's going to be similar to that because we are also going to be controlling a 3D cube, probably the same size as the one in the maze, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be in a maze. It's going to be on just a very small platform where you have to try and navigate to the end. So kind of the same objective as the maze, but you're not going to be going through a maze. And the movement of the cube is also going to be completely different to that of the maze game. So in the maze, all you have to do is you have to move the cube from one unit to the next using the arrow keys from point A to point B, which is the endpoint, point B. In this game, we are going to change it up, and there's not going to be, actually there might be some obstacles on the level, but the movement of the cube itself is going to be on a rotation. So when you move from point A to from one unit to the other unit, it's kind of, the cube's gonna, we're gonna try and get it to kind of rotate onto that next unit, and then you'll see later when we go and change, because the first level is obviously going to be a simple level, but when we go and go into the higher levels where things get more complicated, we will start removing some of the platforms that the cube is allowed to sit on. And if there is no platform there, that means you can't rotate onto that platform that was supposed to be there, which means you'll have to find a way to the endpoint a different way, but I'll explain it as we go on and get on with this game. So let's get stuck into it. So I've created a blank project here in Unity, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is let's create our platforms, and then I will probably create, we'll start off with a cube, but later on I might just create like a platform in Blender and then import it into the project. But we will change the size of this on the y-axis to about 1.2 is fine. So we'll keep it like that, and then we'll also what do we want to do? We want to, I'm trying to think, okay, let's create our platform first, and then once we've created it, we can go and duplicate it and start getting the level set up as how we want it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add add a material to it so that we can change what it looks like. But first, I think I imported this into the wrong project, so I'm going to delete that because we don't need that. We will write our own scripts to get the movement of the cube. So in our assets folder, let's go I'm going to create a new folder and call this materials. So this is going to be where I'm obviously going to put my materials. So the first one we are going to create is a platform. So this is going to be a temporary solution. So I'm going to make this kind of like an orangey yellowish color. Something like that. We could change it later on, but let's go and put that on there. So I'm going to, what am I going to do? I want to change the position of our camera to be like a top-down view here, something like this, just so that we can see what it looks like in our game window here. So I'm going to do that, and then trying to use my shortcut that I made, but it's clearly not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move our camera as well, because let's try and move it to the correct place. So we want it to be here, go up a little bit, and then rotate on the, no, not that one, on the, I think it's the Z axis, nope, on the X axis. Of course, it's going to be the last one we try. And then let's just move this down like this, and then where's this one? Something like that. Okay, so that's just for us to work on our cube or our platform and our cube in our scene, and then actually see what's happening in our game view here. So here we have our first platform. So now I'm going to go and create a prefab out of that. But first, let's go and rename it to platform. Not platform cube, just platform. And then I'm going to add a tag onto it just for later. We might need to use it, maybe. I'm not quite sure for what. We might need to check to see if there is a platform in the next position. We will see later on, but we'll add a platform tag onto our platform just for future references. And then if we don't use it, then it's fine. We don't really need to bother about it, but there it is. So I'm going to create another folder, and this is going to be our prefabs folder. And I'm thinking if we drag this in here, we could drag and drop it out and place it next to each other. But the problem is we're not going to see the difference. And I kind of want to be able to see like where our platforms start and where our platforms stop. So this needs to be at 0, so that the same level. This is going to be at 0, and then this needs to be at 1. Okay. So that's the problem there. You see, you can see the platforms, but you can't see the difference between them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create another platform, copy that, and I'm just going to change the color of the material on this one. So platform orange. Actually, orange platform, that makes more sense. And then this one we will change to what goes with orange? I don't know, let's just do red. Red platform. So on this one we need to create another material. This will be red. We'll change that color to red. And then we'll just change the name of this one to orange, just so that makes sense. Okay, so this one here is platform 1. And then, okay, so let's go delete this one. And then prefabs, red platform, we need to put our red material in here. Where's our material? Here it is. Delete this one. And then prefabs, that should, okay, there we go. So that's red, and here's our orange one. We will change this later and make them look the same, but also probably add like some sort of outline to the material. So we might have to make our own custom one. So we'll go and set that to 0. That needs to be 0, I think, as well, and that needs to be 1. And then we will go and paste that in, get rid of this one, and put this one at 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay, so now let's copy this one and paste it and put it over here. So that needs to be at -1. And then we'll copy all of these, copy and paste, and then we will move them up here to 2. And then we will copy and paste these two. Move them this way to there, and then over here. So -1, -1, -1. That needs to be -1, so it's in line. This one will obviously have to be 0. And then we will copy and paste this one and put this one over here. So that needs to be 1, and that needs to be 1. Okay, so we should now have 9 blocks in our scene that are all in line with each other on the same. Just making sure that they are. It doesn't really matter for now, but it looks like they're good. So we'll leave it like that. So now what we need to do is we need to create an endpoint. An endpoint and a starting point. So let's go and do that. we will create a, I'm just going to copy, let's actually, first of all, let's do this. We create an empty object and create level 1. And then we can drag all of these onto level 1. And then we will copy one and paste it again and move it out slightly. And that will go to -2. Why is it -1.5 now? Did we move all of them? What's this one at? I swear. Oh, I know why. So we can go and reset this 0, 0, and 0, and then actually let's undo that. Let's just go back and undo what we just did. Take them off level 1. Go and reset that, and then these should, if we just go and push them into here, this should be fine. Okay, so now they should be in the correct positions. So this one is, okay, so let's just get this right. So that one is this way. Okay, so this one is this one. Okay, that's good. So we're in the correct orientation now, so that's fine. So now let's go back, and then we can copy and paste this one, and then move this one over here. So that now that should be -2. It should fit nicely. Okay, so this one is going to be our starting point. We'll create this one as our starting point. We'll drag it into here, create an original one. And now we need to create or change the color of this one. So we need to create another material. So copy and paste one of these. Create a starting point. And we can change the color to about, let's just go with pink for now, and then drag that onto there. So that's going to be our starting point. And then we need to create an endpoint, which is going to be over here. So this is going to be a very easy level just to start off and get things working. And then once we've got everything working, we can go and start creating more difficult levels. So if we copy and paste that and then change the color to green, this one will now be a endpoint. So you can see if you've been following along with, okay, we did the wrong one. So let's just go and rename this one. You can see that if you've been following along with our cube game, you can see that we're doing very similar things in this game. We've got our starting point, we've got an endpoint, and then we don't have a maze, but we have platforms for our cube to travel along. So it's fairly simple. And very similar to the other one, but you'll see now when we go and start making our cube, which we're going to do right now, we will have a completely different form of movement. So I'm just going to rename our red platform 5, which is our endpoint, to endpoint. And then let's go and override that. So oh, why did I do that? Let's undo that, and then we'll drag this into our prefabs because I don't think it's in there yet. Create an original one. Okay, so here's our endpoint. Now we can, okay, so we don't need to override that because they're all updated to the latest version of them, if that makes sense. Okay, so now what we have to do now is we need to create a cube. So let's create a cube, and this cube needs to be put at the Y position is going to be 0.3, I think. No, what is it going to be? 0.7. Yeah, 0.7, I think. Is that right? No, 0.8. No, 0. What's this one? This one is 0.6 maybe. Or what we could do is we could just go and reset this, put our cube at 0, and then move our level down to minus 0.6. Okay, so here's our cube, but we don't want it here. We want it on our starting point, which is going to be over here. Like that. So that's going to be minus 2. That's going to be 2, I believe. And there we go. So this is what our level is going to look like. So the aim of the game is to get this cube, the white one, to the green one here. But it's not going to move. It's not going to move like this. And then that, and then down this way, and then over here. It's not going to move like that. The way it's going to move is it will move to this block over here, but on the way, this face that is over here now is going to be the one that's going to be touching this cube. So if I, let's see which, no, it's not that rotation, it is Z, it's Z rotation. So it's going to move, it's going to rotate 90 degrees, but while it's rotating, it's also going to move itself like this, if that makes sense. And then it's going to end up like that. So that's going to be at minus 90. And then now that's going to sit over there. And then the aim is to continue moving it all the way to the green one. But as the levels, as you progress to higher levels, we're going to take away some of these platforms. So this one, for example, there'll be a level that will look like this. So you have to try and navigate. Obviously, if you go in here, the cube will fall down and then you'll end the level because you failed. You'll have to restart it. So you have to navigate your way to this platform over here. And as the levels progress and things get harder, there will probably only be one route to the end. I'm trying to think, because this one you can rotate onto there and then back this way and then to there. But on some of them you might have to go a certain way and then go back one and then go a different way. And then some levels we might actually increase the height of this cube so that it's always the last axis that we try that works out. So that we might introduce a new cube, or in this case like I can't even remember what that shape's called. But we might like make it longer so that you can see obviously that it's not going to work in this level, because if you rotate it onto here, there will be no way of rotating it to these ones because it will be in the wrong orientation. So you'll have to rotate it back to where it's standing up here, and then you can't go this way because the same thing will happen. You'll just have to rotate it back that way. So this shape of cube, or whatever this is called, is not going to work for this level, because if you rotate it, and then it ends up being over here, you can see that there is no space because you can't rotate it this way because there is a gap here. You can't rotate it that way because there's nothing there, and then you can't rotate it this way because there's nothing there either. So you have to rotate it back to a standing position in this cube, and then you'll be stuck. So obviously this one does not work in this level. So this is what we're going to introduce in this game somehow. We'll see how far we can get. But for now, let's go and try. Actually, what's the time? We got about 18 minutes. So we'll put this back to how we had it. And then we'll go and put our cube back. So undo everything. All right, so this is the aim of the game. So we'll see how this goes, but we will end it off here for today because we're at 20 minutes. And I like to keep the videos at 20 minutes, or like between 20 and 22 minutes. But yeah, this is a brand new game. I don't actually know how to make this game, so you're learning at the same time I am. So we'll go and see if we can try and get the rotation of the cube working in the next episode. But we will be switching between this game, this cube moving game, our cube quest game, as well as our island island survival game, because it's not paradise. Well, it looks like paradise, but it's going to be a survival game. So in the next episode, if you follow along, we are going to be working on our island game. So we need to, I don't know if you saw my shorts, but I started creating some kind of waterfall feature on one of the bigger islands. So we'll carry on working in one of those, and then we'll get back to this game probably on Wednesday. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. So goodbye, and thanks for watching again.